Woo! I had to rush for that. You didn't prompt me. We were doing fun and games for that.
Did you have the same idea I did?
I didn't until I saw Fritz, and then I'm like, well, I got something I can do. Are we going to do the whole show like this?
No, because this thing is about 40 pounds.
This is the way.
This is actually built on a football helmet. On an old football helmet. I don't know if you can see it at all, but it's nasty in there. I lived in this thing for like 5 years.
40 pounds?
Yeah, it's like 40 pounds with all the parts on it.
That is crazy.
Yep. Don't do it. And it leaves hair everywhere.
It leaves hair everywhere.
Hair everywhere.
Just like a dog or a cat.
Well, the hair I use to make it is, there's a synthetic to it, but then it's also real yak hair is the rest of it. Yeah. So, yeah, that's seriously messy type stuff. All right. I'm off my game now. Yo, YouTube. Welcome to the live with Charlie and Stu on Wednesday night. Every Wednesday, 8 Central Standard Time. So Charlie with JC3 Cards and Collectibles. How you doing tonight?
I am fantastic. Major League Baseball is almost here for real.
Yeah, it is. There's only been the 2 games, and my team didn't fare so well. So I'm excited to get back out to
on pace for
regular fields.
Go Cubs!
To be fair, they played the best team in baseball too.
Oh, I see. So they get a pass.
Well, I don't know about that, but they do get it's not like they lost to the Pirates 2 games in a row or something.
I mean,
or the
they
Brewers.
played the best team in baseball, but they also have one of the top 5 payrolls in baseball in one of the top 3 markets.
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Right there.
I don't get what you're trying to say.
The Cubs have no excuses of why they suck.
Pete Crow Armstrong for MVP this year.
PCA. Sounds like a law firm.
It does. Well, they needed a law firm. You got Lance there. He needed a law firm for a while. All right. So we've got a few things we want to try to fit in tonight, and of course, chat will be the star of the show as usual. But we want to talk a little bit of some Goat Show updates. We got a couple of big things that happened within the last week here. Talk a little bit about what was the other thing? I already forgot.
Stuff.
Yeah. Well, the main reason we had the Star Wars masks on when we started is we're doing Hobby or No tonight, which was very popular a couple shows ago. We're going to do a Star Wars edition. So maybe a bigger challenge for some of you out there that just do the sports or don't know Star Wars. We're going to
more challenging just because I feel like there's a bigger discrepancy between vintage or modern than there is between the actual characters themselves. Like the most random basic character probably would have more hobby in vintage sets than some modern new star, Well,
so I think that makes it hard. I think that's kind of the same way for sports though. If you have a 1952 Topps Common, that's probably going to perform better than a 2024 Topps Common.
Yeah, maybe.
So if you're looking at it as far as like the common name characters and not the main characters, main players, it maybe fits in the same bill that way. But yeah, I'm excited for this. It'll be fun. So we haven't done anything non-sport on this show really ever. So
yeah,
I think it'll be a fun piece to add into it.
The other thing too is I had this scale for Star Wars because Star Wars sales numbers are very different than sports sales numbers.
Right. Yeah, there's less non-sport cards sold than sports cards for sure.
Yeah, significantly.
There's also less printed. There's less sets per year.
Yeah.
So they kind of fall in line, for the most part.
Yeah.
But kind of what prompted this was I made a huge Star Wars card buy at the GOAT Show. And then Charlie, I believe you just bought some cards with Star Wars, and then you bought those Heritage cards as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like remakes of the Vintage.
Yep, I did get those.
Okay, the other topics I had for tonight was tax time. We'll see if we even want to touch on any of that. And then I know. And my mom just called me today. Her stuff's ready for her taxes to be done. So guess who has to do that as well?
I know.
So,
I got my mother-in-law's done this week. That was my duty.
Yeah, so she's dropping all the stuff off tomorrow. I'm going to just try to bang hers out. It's not too complicated. And last year they didn't give me all their stuff, so I filed their taxes, and then we get a letter, and then she's like, "Well, why does it say I need all this?" I'm like, "Well, you didn't give me this 1099. How am I supposed to know? I don't know what 1099s you get, Anyway, now that I've got them entered digitally, it should be easier going forward because everything just carries forward, and I can be like, "Did you get the 1099 from your, whatever, or did you get the interest statement from this bank account? Whatever it is, I should have some track of it." But anyway, enough about me. And then let's see. Want to create live sales talk. Want to create live. What the heck does that say?
I don't know. What are you working on?
Edit the description. So just sales talk. That's why. It has that little advertising piece in there because of StreamYard. Okay. So that's kind of what we want to cover tonight. Let's quickly go through the GOAT Show update, as that's more just talking points. A couple of exciting things. We are now way over 50% sold out, which is great. We just sold a couple tables right before the show started. We've got mainly returning vendors. We haven't even opened the show bookings to the general public yet. So I suspect, once that goes out, we really start advertising that way. It'll fill up. I haven't brought any flyers out yet. I was going to do that tomorrow, since Friday. I think is Friday or Saturday the last day to book for existing vendors, I believe.
For the discount.
Yeah, for the original bookers. So anyway, I was going to drop some flyers off tomorrow, kind of get those started, and then we can start, booking for, any open tables next week is the goal. So pretty exciting there. I mean, the show's not until June, and we're almost sold out already. I shouldn't say almost. We're more than half sold out, which I think is pretty good. It's better than we've, sold previously. So show keeps growing that way. The other really exciting piece that I was kind of able to lock down this week is we are going to have a live breaker at the show. He's going to be set up on the stage, and I'm not exactly sure how he wants to do the schedule yet. I have to talk to him about that. I just wanted to make sure I knew what he wanted for tables and things like that, because he's getting tables on the show floor as well. So I got that figured out. I'm going to try to talk to him this week and find out if he wants to, sell the breaks beforehand, or if he wants to do, sell break positions right at the show. I don't know. He's done breaks at shows before, so I'm guessing he has some sort of plan or strategy on how he wants to do that. So we'll get that figured out and then pass that information along as well. I'd love to get a couple more breakers. Charlie and I did a live show from the show. If you haven't seen that, watch it on here. It's my most high energy performance ever, because it was in the morning. But we did a live from there. One of the main reasons I wanted to do it was just to do it on the Wi-Fi and show that we have the strength there to do a live break, and for it to be successful. So went off without a hitch. It was a great stream, and we've got a BB Breaks is the committed breaker. Who's going to be set up on the stage. Will be our first breaker to go, and we'll see if we can get some more spots filled up on the stage. Excuse me, performing some live breaks. I think it'll be tons of fun. Charlie put the GOAT Show flyer up there so you can take a look at that. We do have an autograph giveaway per usual. We have a Marcus Allen autographed mini helmet this time.
Very cool.
Yep, we are going to have packs for kids. We're going to have some giveaway stuff. We're going to do the hashtag contest again, where you can qualify to win a $20 show voucher to spend at any table on the following show. We're going to do the Hide a Goat. The Hide a Goat was hugely successful, so we're definitely doing that again. So if you find one of our mini goats anywhere around the show floor, take that up to the check-in table, where our lovely wives will be happy to hand you a $5 voucher to spend at any dealer's table, towards the purchase of cards, toys, supplies, whatever you want to spend it on at that dealer's table. So lots of fun stuff there. June, so we won't have to worry about the snow and
Right.
hopefully it is Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Yeah, so you never know, but looking forward to maybe a little bit nicer weather show. It'll be we haven't really had like a super nice weather show at all yet, because our first show was like middle September.
Yeah.
Starts getting dark a little bit. It is, but it just kind of slaps you in the face because you just came out of summer. So like,
yeah,
even like 45 overnight seems cold, when you haven't gotten used to it yet. Like, it was 45 degrees today, and I was walking around without a jacket on outside, my sunglasses on, and 45 is different in March than it is in September. But
yeah,
I digress. I think we'll have a little bit better weather going for that one. So I'm excited for that. We got the draft coming up in about a month, so I had dinner the other night with a friend of mine who works for the tourism Green Bay tourism place, and he said they are going insane right now. There's just so much stuff coming in, and bus schedules, and trying to coordinate. Like, there's an Uber pickup and drop off area. They can't just drive around wherever they want, so they're trying to put a message out, like, how do you contact Uber drivers and let them know, like, you know what I mean? It's not a thing, it's not a company, so they're just trying to find a way to get to everybody.
Technical difficulties over here.
I heard that, yeah. So anyway, that's what's up so far with the Goat Show. I think those are pretty solid updates for the week, considering, again, we're a couple months out. We'd love to have as many of you there as possible. Charlie and I we loved doing the live. I had a great time doing the live. So we're planning to do that again, filming up on the stage and showing the crowd, and hopefully getting many of you involved and being able to participate in the show, even if you can't be there. If you do want to travel in, that would be great. We can help you get some accommodations and show you around town and all those good things. Just don't come the last week of April, or the third. Is it the third week of April?
I think it's the third, isn't it?
Third week of April.
No, it might be the last, because it's like the 20.
It's like towards the end. Yeah. I do have passes to go to the draft, so I will be there at least 1 or 2 days, I'm guessing, depending on how far I get through the experience stuff and that. I've been told that Fanatics is going to have a pop-up there. I don't know what that means, like if they're selling cards or giving cards out, or they're going to have an autograph signer, from a high draft choice autograph signers. If they're just there to service the draft day stuff. Okay. And get their, first day signing, jerseys. I have no idea. I have no idea what they're doing. So if anybody knows, shoot us some messages. It'd be great. I'm going to try to film as much as I can. I haven't been doing a whole lot with the YouTube channel lately. It's been so busy. And I'm probably still not going to for another week or two with all the tax returns I got to prepare. And different filings and stuff. So I'm trying to barrel down and get through all that stuff, and then, get back on track and have some fun instead of paying some bills.
How do you get the passes? Is that through the NFL site, or is that through?
That is through. Oh crap! I'm on my phone right now. There's an app you have to download, and it gives you like a GPS pass. So it's kind of cool, actually. You literally don't even have to show them a ticket. It does give you a QRC code they can scan, but again, from my friend who's like actually working on all this stuff, he said they tried it in Detroit the first time last year, and he said literally the like scanner can see where you are in GPS and know that you're a ticket holder.
Okay.
And that's how they verify it. So they don't give you like, lanyards or wristbands. They don't do any of that. It's just you have to have your phone on you. Make sure you have your phone with your location turned on. But that's how it identifies of whether or not you're supposed to be in there. The goal behind that was not just to know that the people who come in have the pass and all that, but to maybe try to catch people who are there to do something not good.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Not that they, wouldn't necessarily get a pass and then go in and do something bad, but more than likely they aren't going to bother with that. They would just come in and do whatever bad thing they intended to do. So, and if they do that, because it's GPS tracked, they know right where the person is.
That's true.
So I think it's kind of a cool idea. I mean, we have Geo. Why not? As long as GPS is working. I think that's why they give you the QRC code, because like if stuff's not working or you don't have a device that has GPS or something, you could still get in. I don't know. But that should be fun. I think that'll be a good little break from the rest of the real world for a little bit. And kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. I don't know if it would ever come back. So that's that plan. So that's the Goat Show. Do we want to do hobby or no right away, or should we do some chat? I'm almost thinking we should catch up on the chat first.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Then when we do hobby or no, we'll be right to like the comments on the cards instead of being at the bottom of the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got to keep the whistle wet tonight. Too much talky. Okay. Let's catch up on the chat. Boomslang, yo. You're 2 yo's short of a greeting, but I appreciate you. Lofi Joe's got a few goats there for us. Charlie said you should wear the Star Wars gear. He has spoken. I put the head on. I do not intend to wear that through this entire show. It's extremely heavy. That costume it's quite a challenge. Like, you have to really be ready for, not only is it physically challenging, it's kind of mentally challenging. Like, I have to sort of pump myself up before I can get in that thing, because it's such a strain. One time, and I was in better shape at this time too. One time I weighed myself after I got out of the costume, and I was down 8 pounds.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I mean, my shirt, starts out as like a normal fitting shirt, and then once I take the costume off, my shirt is like down to my knees because it's just water and weight, and it just,
That sounds gross.
It does. Yeah, it is kind of gross. I do have ways to clean it, and I do use silica gel, so I dry it out too.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like the little teeny packets they put in your DVD player. I'm talking like I have the big canisters with the giant crystals, and many people don't know this, but those are actually reusable. So once they soak up enough moisture, you can actually bake them in the oven for a period of time, and that dries them back out again. And they actually will change a color, so that's how you'll know. And then you can put them right back into another breathable container. Oh, geez.
Excuse me. I think the Fritz hat got me.
It does. It makes you sneeze. It's funny because I haven't worn that in a while, and I haven't even taken it out in a while. And one of the reasons I brought it down was the kids got a sleepover tonight, and they're up. They want to go up in the gym, and they're going to pull an all-nighter. They're 10, so they'll be till like 11:30 or whatever. But her bedroom's right across from a room that we use for like exercise and stuff. So there's a TV in there and just like a lot of floor space and that. And they're like, oh, we want to bomb around in here. And the head was just laying in there in a bag because it hadn't been relocated yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I gotta bring this down and put this on for the show. And I haven't worn it in a couple of years, and I took it out, and just the smell of it, I'm like, oh, all the nostalgia, like when you open that pack of cards, right? That I open a pack of 1991 Upper Deck, and it has a different smell than every other pack of cards ever made.
Yeah.
And I crack it. It's a foil pack, by the way. Remember when they did foil packs for like a year? I kid you not. Upper Deck did foil packs in 1990 and 1991. It was actually made out of a silver foil.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy. It was kind of wax had just ended, so they're still kind of trying to figure out what to do with like the wrappers. And before the obvious plastics popped up, they were using like a foil. But anyway, so I smelled the head and I'm like, oh, this brings back all these memories. Some of them good, some of them gross and challenging. And then I put it on and like it has a mouth that goes in my mouth, so that I can move the mouth. I can control the mouth with my mouth.
Okay.
And I had to kind of,
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I had to kind of get used to that again. I haven't had that on in a long time, and yeah, it was pretty weird. So that's enough of that. I won't be wearing that again for a while. We're trying to come up with some sort of display case or something because I want to set it up in the theater. I mean, it needs to be out somewhere. It's too cool to.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. Yeah. All right, Joe is here. He says, "Good evening, Goat Boys." Ooh, I like that. Goat Boys. Boomslang says, "I'll leave the other yo's for you. Appreciate you." Topps Batman wax box. What would you pay for it? Ooh, we're gonna have non-sport talk tonight, Charlie.
Look at that.
Non-sport talk. Yes. 89 Topps. Is it Series 1 or Series 2? Series 1, I would say. Because you're going to have, it should be 36 packs. So you have 36 stickers in it. I would say probably $25 to $35.
Yeah, I would be closer to the 25.
Series 2 would be not as great. So I would say probably more like 20 to 30 in there. The packs are in great shape. If the box is in great shape, you can spend a little bit more for that because those are cool items to have. But yeah, I'd buy them. I saw a lot of Batman cards and sticker cards. So if you can find them. Odd Merchants, Evening Cheeseheads. Oop, I just skipped forward. I just had that same 89 Upper Deck with the cardstock smell. That was totally nostalgic. See? He gets the Upper Deck smell. Actually, I think you're right. I think the 1989 packs were also foil, if I'm not mistaken. And that's of course the Griffey year, so those are the more expensive packs.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Green Bay Cards has an 89 Upper Deck box. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I was like, it's $250, $300, whatever they go for now. I'm sure it's fairly priced, but I was like, I really want to rip 89 Upper Deck. There's some cool cards. There's other cool cards in there. The Bo Jackson is cool. That's got the one of Nolan Ryan throwing the football, and
okay.
The triple exposure photo of is it Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson? I know there's a couple of pictures that they did that with. And yeah, it's a sweet box, but you're really paying up to get the Griffies, for sure. 25 was my starting bid, and it went for $41. Everything was mint. Yeah, 41 is probably a tad bit of a premium, but if you had a big Batman collector that was looking for a really nice box, yeah, I can see $5-6 extra on there for that. Was there free shipping, or did shipping extra? How did it come out as a total?
Yeah, that would make a difference.
Big time. He says Series 1. Yep, that would always go for a bit more. Ricky Henderson. Yeah, Ricky Henderson had the triple exposure card too, but I don't think it was in 1989. That was like 1991. I just listed one of those a day or two ago. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that was a 91 Upper Deck where it was It's one of my favorite Ricky cards because it's him, running for the steal and kind of going into the slide. So
Yeah.
those cards were cool. I don't know why they don't do anything cool with photography on cards nowadays.
They do
It drives me
nothing cool
nuts.
anymore. Nothing.
They don't. Not with the photography. They do cool stuff with the
Design.
surfaces and the colors and borders and things. But those triple exposure cards, Nolan Ryan throwing a football. Come on, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. Cal Ripken Jr. talking on the giant ass cell phone.
Yes. Brick phone.
Yeah, I love stuff like Kirby Puckett and this was Topps. Kirby Puckett with the giant bat. Do you remember that card?
Mm-hmm.
There was just all kinds of neat, photo op type stuff. I think Stadium Club does a pretty good job with that still, and has even gotten better over the years with better photography, technology. I like a lot of their photos, especially some of the vintage stuff, the black and whites. I love the Babe Ruth playing the saxophone and then the teammate going like this.
Yeah.
That's still, I love stuff like that. To me, that adds more value than anyone would ever really admit to, Oh yeah, and the Ryan Tuxedo card.
Yeah.
That was Stadium Club, wasn't it? Yeah, that was Stadium Club. Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. $8 shipping, so it was $49 by the time it was done for that box. Probably a tad high, but $8 is probably about. Actually, that might be under what it would cost to ship. So maybe that's kind of what they were thinking too. Is go a couple bucks more because the shipping was fair. The Upper Deck checklists were cool. I agree.
Yeah.
Where they did use the drawings and stuff. Art rendering cards. Yep. 89 Upper Deck Nolan Ryans were cool. The football throw and the 3 picture of him pitching the ball. Yeah, yep. It's triple exposure. But yeah, I know. It was cool to see the actual motion of a player. It was neat. And the Ryan Tuxedo. I just listed my Cal Ripken card with him holding pillows. Oh, the Holiday Inn set. Yeah. Like the card you just posted the other day from Classic, I've sold that one a few times. Where he's holding the Bo Jackson card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so 90s because it's what, pink and purple or something is the border and
bright colors.
Man, I can remember when I was a kid. I remember those. Do you remember the Classic sets when they would come out? They were carded, they were on an action figure card, and the set was in a bubble.
I really don't, because when I was a kid, all I really remember was Topps.
And that was when the cards really exploded, early 90s. There was so much out, and I can remember you could get the Classic sets. People didn't want them because they didn't have licensed uniforms and stuff like that. That mattered back then.
Yeah.
And you could get the whole. They sold everything in complete sets. This was the draft set. This was whatever. You could get complete sets for $2 or $3, for 60 cards. I'm like, man, I really wish I would have bought up as much of that stuff as possible because some of those are the coolest cards, and you don't see them that often.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those. All right. Star picks and front row and scoreboard, all that stuff was those little fringe companies at that time. Stewart had a Tux card also. I don't remember that, but I'll take your word for it. I'm assuming you mean Dave Stewart.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Griffey blowing the massive bubble, sneaky card in dollar boxes that will sell 15 to 20. Yeah, I would buy that for sure if I saw it. Saved by the Bell graphics, yeah. Actually, that has a specific name. I heard that today. I was watching one of my YouTube runs of stuff that was in the 80s we'd never see today kind of thing. I know it was mainly 90s. It was kind of late 80s too was when it started, but yeah, there's a name for that pattern where it's these light blue shapes and yellow squiggles on a pink background with red polka dots. And
kind of know what you're talking about. Here's the one you were mentioning before.
Yeah, it's a great card. I mean, Nolan Ryan and Bo Jackson. Like, how can you go wrong there? And it's a baseball card. Like,
well, and is that Bo Jackson actually an Auburn card? Because look at the sleeve.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Auburn. Yeah.
And I think that's what they were trying to do. It was them promoting like the new rookies for that new year set, kind of thing. So they had Nolan Ryan, and Nolan Ryan's got the palm trees in the background, and it's great, great stuff. Yeah, the Dion quad with the 2 baseball and 2 football. That was actually a short print. That's an SP. So pick those up if you see them because they go for $10 to $15. The classic Barry Bonds rookie from '87 has a yellow border color match. Nolan Ryan looking like Mr. Belding. Yeah, I advise you to not make fun of Nolan Ryan, though. I've seen him beat the hell out of people. So
yeah,
that guy's no joke. I think even at his age now, he wouldn't back down from somebody charging him out. All right. I also collected. Oh, I should probably pull this up on screen so y'all can see it. I also collected Topps big cards back in the day, but I know those were not popular. I remember those. Most of the packs of those didn't get sold, and they ended up in like these mystery bags.
Yeah.
You remember that, where you get like the generic packs? There's always Topps big in those.
Yeah.
And if I ever find them anywhere, they're always destroyed because nobody had big holders. So the corners are they're like bent in half, or the corners are just totally, dog-eared and folded over and soft. Yeah, it's fun. The Steve Lake Parrot card. Now that's actually from Leaf Studio.
Yes.
That was a studio card, which was also a very good, very cool set with some photography. They spent some time like posing guys on, bar stools and stuff, and doing things like that, as opposed to in-game action or things. Yeah, there it is. There it is, the parrot card. Yeah,
Studio 91
with his pet parrot. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah, that's they definitely had some fun with them.
All right, so we're caught up. Chat's light tonight, which is okay because I want to make sure we get into some of this stuff. Especially want to make sure we do hobby or no. So yeah, if you're ready to play, Charlie, I'm ready to play. Let's get into it.
Do it. I know you're anxiously awaiting. You've been asking for Star Wars for content for a while, and then when we did hobby or no, that was the first thing you said to me. How about Star Wars?
Yeah. Well, when we talked about it even a bit last week, remember? Because we had Star Wars versus Lord of the Rings versus, Harry Potter, I think it was. And to be honest with you, those are all 3 very strong properties. But Star Wars is really the only one of the 3 that has a lot of cards. Lord of the Rings doesn't have a ton out there. I have some Lord of the Rings stuff. Harry Potter has like almost none. They did like a top series for a couple of the movies where they had some autos in it, and then they did I think they had one other set too that had come out later on. And then they had Ushi's. Remember the DC Ushi's? They had an Ushi's one.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones that I can think of, and none of those have particularly great value. So Star Wars is king when it comes to the cards in those 3, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have hobby or no all set to go for all Star Wars cards, and the format is pretty similar. So we will go through a number of cards here, and I'll stop on each one, and we'll weigh in on, does that card have hobby or no? And it's a little different on this one. I know last time we talked about the type of card. I think this time we're going to focus more on the characters, just because I didn't have a lot of variety to pull from for card sets. So I think that's kind of where we'll center our decision on. Is this a character that sells a lot or not? Now, some of them are different sets, and we can certainly weigh in on that. So have at her. Whatever you feel like saying when you see that card come up, we'll go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, I think the key to this will be characters and then the scenes from the movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that tend to create hobby or not. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's go.
All right. We'll bring her on up here. And away we go. There we go. Card number 1.
Is this a parallel? I can't really tell.
This is a Ray Wave Topps Chrome of Ayla Secura.
Okay. I still think parallels impact whether it's hobby or not, just like sports.
Mm-hmm.
She is a female Jedi, which does have some fan base to it.
Ooh, it's a lady.
However, yeah. However, she's not really that important in the Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have like a big following or anything. I've met the actress. She's a very nice lady. But she doesn't, the actress herself, because this is another angle to this too. Sometimes the actor or the actress has a popularity where they bring that along with the character, which creates hobby. But she doesn't really have that. She doesn't have any other main roles. She's not a, celebrity, big celebrity that somebody would know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it gets a few bonus points for being a parallel. Being Topps Chrome is a solid effort as far as quality of products, but I'm going to say no on this one.
You saying no? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see a couple no's in the chat. Max, Dan both say no. I would say no as well if you were to randomly ask me. So let's see what we decided. That's a no. That's a no. All right, let's go on to the next card.
Okay.
No.
This is, for me, this is very, very easy. I don't care what set it's from. I don't care if it's a parallel. I don't care if it's a short print. I don't care if it's an insert. If it has Ahsoka Tano on it, it's a huge, giant thumbs up.
Okay. All right.
She is by far in modern Star Wars, kind of outside the Skywalker story, she is by far the most popular character.
Okay.
She was huge in the Clone Wars, kind of kicking that off. She was Anakin's apprentice. Great character design, played by a couple of really good actresses. You had Eckstein, what the heck's her name? Can't think of her first name right now. She's married to a baseball player, a retired baseball player. It's gonna drive me nuts. But anyway, the actress in the new shows, like in The Mandalorian and stuff, is very famous also. Again, I can't think of her name, but she was in Clerks 2 and Clerks 3.
Yeah, what the heck is her name?
Rosario Dawson. That's it.
Yeah.
So that matters. Those are two actresses that people really like. Gosh, I have the autograph of the original one too. Quick short story on this one. Nobody knew who she was really, and she was set up at a convention I was at, and let's see. And she was there with her mom, and she started this company called Her Universe. So it's basically based, it's nerdwear or geekwear, whatever you want to call it, for females. Because most of the geekwear for the longest time was for guys, right? All Superman shirts, all that was guys' clothing. So she started making Green Lantern dresses and things like that.
Sure.
That a lot of females would want to wear. Let's see.
Well, you're looking for that. A quick callback to the last card, Ayla Secura. So I did pull eBay sales data on every one of these cards for the last 6 months, and the sales results for Ayla Secura were a big fat 0.
Yeah, that sounds right. So anyway, to finish my story, it's Ashley Eckstein, by the way. She's married to David Eckstein. Do you remember David Eckstein?
Baseball player, yeah.
Yeah, he was third baseman for the Cardinals forever.
Yeah.
So anyway, she was set up in the hallway. She didn't even give her space in the convention floor with her mom. And I came in that Wampa costume. And her mom comes, and I didn't know who these people were. Her mom comes running over to me to give me a big hug. Now, when you're in a giant costume on stilts, somebody running at you is literally the worst thing you can see.
Yeah.
Not that they would intentionally try to knock me over, but they're probably going to knock me over.
Right.
And people don't realize when they come and give me a hug, they're right at my knees, at my knee level with their face.
Right.
So anyway, she came over and she's like, "Oh, I'm a huge fan. This Wampa's my favorite character from Star Wars." And she's like, "Oh, Ashley, can you come take a picture of us?" So here's Ashley Eckstein taking a picture of her mom and me in the Wampa costume. And then Ashley was kind enough to sign a bunch of stuff for us. Now, if you go to see her at a Star Wars convention or whatever, it's $200 for an autograph, and you got to wait in line for a whole day. And it's funny how that stuff changes, but super nice lady. She's really awesome. Rosario Dawson, I've never met her, but I'm sure she's awesome too. Yeah, this is long story short, this is by far a yes for me.
Okay. All right. Well, what do we got in the chat? Max says he's going to answer no to all Star Wars.
Well, I understand if you don't like the property, but you have to understand there is sales volume to it. So there are, whether you like it or not, there are cards that are going to sell better than others, which is kind of the point of the game.
We got a couple yeses in there, though. Actually, Max does clarify. It's actually
he says yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I will tell you that I look for Ahsoka Tano because I feel the same way you do about her. It was huge when she made her live action debut. That was all anybody wanted to talk about. But let's see what I went with when I looked at sales data. Oh, we got a teaser of the next one.
Oh no, what'd you do?
So I went with popular, but the sales data is actually significantly lower than most of the big selling cards in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I could see that. Would she compete with, Han Solo? Probably not,
Yeah.
But what I'll tell you is, because I do list a lot of Star Wars, and Ahsoka's one of my top sellers. You have to price it right. You can't price it quite as high as maybe some of the I like the Yoda head right on the picture. That's pretty great.
That's Yoda saying patience, because it is somebody that I would find and pick up and list, but I'm not going to expect, blazing sales running right through.
Sure. And again, unlike sports, there's no performance level. Now, she has her own show coming out. So,
okay.
That's going to matter. And there's a Mandalorian movie that's in the works, and she'll be in that. So I'm pretty sure Rosario Dawson wouldn't sign on if she wasn't going to have a pretty good sized role with this character.
Yeah.
Because she can easily get roles doing other things. So I'm pretty sure that they're really going to put a lot into Ahsoka. Everybody loves her timeline. She's kind of a badass. She sort of shook off Anakin. And for those who don't know, Anakin is Darth Vader eventually. And
spoiler alert.
Yeah, kind of made her own way. So I think, especially girl fans, I think really see a lot of, reason to want to believe in her. So
yeah. So just be patient, and that is definitely a character that can sell. All right. Well, now you know who's coming up next, and I know you get excited for that one. He's laughing.
Yes. This is my remember the little Kowakian monkey I wore on my shoulder the one week? This is him right here. His name is Salacious Crumb.
Yeah.
And Dan hit the nail on the head. As long as this isn't the heritage version.
No, that's what, 83?
83. So this was Return of the Jedi. So it was the final of the first 3 films. And this would be Salacious Crumb's very first ever card. So a rookie card, if you want to call it that, which is what Dan said here in the chat. I don't know if you can read that. There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I've sold this card quite a few times for decent money. It's not one where you buy it today and it's out the door tomorrow necessarily, but you can find these in 10-cent quarter boxes, 50-cent boxes, and it would be a pickup all day for me. Joe made a comment here that the corners are a little bad, so this, that does kind of knock it down if we're talking about this specific card in the picture.
Yeah.
Copy of the card, it's a little off-centered. Just like vintage sports, it kind of comes down to condition and, quality of the color and all that good stuff too. But I would say just generally speaking for this card, not the specific copy of it, I would say it's a yes for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Now this is not one. It's not one of the main characters. I mean, it's way far from the main character. He has like 18 seconds of screen time.
Right.
Now I also met the puppeteer for this. His name is Tim Rose, and I was at a party with him, and he had some pretty interesting stories about filming Star Wars. He had to lay on in a box on the ground in the dark for hours at a time, and it was very interesting. So to me, some of these cards and some of these characters mean something different because of my own personal experiences.
Yeah.
Which I have to separate that out some, but just from flat out hobby standpoint on this, I would say yes, this is one of the very best cards from that entire set.
Yeah, I would agree. And Salacious Crumb is iconic from that movie. Like, some people may not remember the name, but if you're like, you remember that little like laughing monkey like character in Return of the Jedi, people know who you're talking about, right? Because it's a sound that they remember from that movie.
Yeah. Kowakian monkey. That's what it is, people.
Yeah, Kowakian.
That's the species, and his name is Salacious Crumb.
That's right. So
and it's also an awesome name.
It is pretty cool. Yeah.
Like Salacious Crumb.
Right?
Like, what? Yeah, it's great. It's great. For a little, character like this, it's perfect. The other thing I'll say about a lot of these characters in Star Wars is there's a lot of them are puppets, right?
Yeah.
And it's very Jim Henson, and Jim Henson just lives on forever in those characters.
Mm-hmm.
And people just love that part of it. So I think this card also gets a couple little bonus points because of the Jim Henson design.
Well, Max would disagree. He says card yes, but character meh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't totally disagree with that, because really, what does the character do? Jabba says some smart lines, and he says, "Oh yeah," and that's it. That's his whole. He doesn't have any super significance in the Star Wars,
Yeah.
space opera, but
It's comedic relief.
Right.
All right, let's take a look. Cad Bane is up next.
Yes, he is. This is a refractor too. Cad Bane, when he first got introduced, and I think that was in Clone Wars also, if I remember correctly. Very awesome character, very space westerny, right? He's alien with the two little, he's got the really gaunt face and then the two little tubes that come down, and he's got this kind of Western gear outfit on, and
this was his first live action scenes.
Correct. This was for the first time he was, a person in a costume, if you will, versus animated.
Yep.
Again, top's chrome. It is a refractor, so we get some bonus points there. I would say I'm in the middle on this one. I would say patience, because again, I think they're going to do a lot to develop this character.
Yeah.
They don't sell that well. The Cad Bane stuff I've listed, I sell some, but it doesn't run out the door like some of the other main characters. So,
right.
But I would say top's chrome first. Live action of performance, refractor, great character to build on, character that people enjoy. I'm going to say I'm in the middle on this one.
Okay. So you'd say patience.
Yep.
Dan says yes. Max says Batman crossover. Okay, I can kind of see that. Let's take a look. Yoda says patience.
Yeah, you caught the pause good that time.
I did. I'm getting it timed a little better.
I think that's really the right answer on that one, because I think sometimes I look at it like, what is the potential for this character in the future? Are they going to do anything with it? Does anybody even care? Does it come from a good storyline, or because Star Wars has made some real garbage too? Not everything was a hit. Things you have from the original trilogy are fine. I think those can live on forever. Some of the stuff after that, you have to kind of look at it as, is there any potential future for it as well?
Right.
So kind of like the Ahsoka, I think Cad Bane, not quite to her level. I think she's above him, but I think he has a place where he could be something.
You could see him getting his own show.
Yeah, and he's also a bounty hunter. So again, if you don't know Star Wars, bounty hunters matter. That's Boba Fett and IG-88 and Bosk and Greedo and those characters that a lot of fans really like.
Yeah.
So he kind of has that. I mean, he dresses like it too, but he kind of has that outlaw image, and he doesn't really. He's not a rebel. He's not an empire. He's just kind of does whatever he needs to do to
mercenary
to make his way. Yeah, kind of like the Mandalorian, and a lot of those types of characters. He has his own creed that he follows, and does the things he has to do to get paid and so forth.
Yeah.
And I think that leads a lot more to a character you can do stuff with.
Absolutely. All right, what do we got next?
All right, so we've got a vintage sticker card of Chewbacca, and I can't really see what the other one is. Too small.
That is the bounty hunters.
Oh, the bounty hunters all lined up.
Pit on Empire. So we've got IG-88, who you just mentioned. You've got Bosk there, and of course you've got Boba Fett there.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
And these were from Empire Strikes Back, which was Boba Fett's first appearance, live action appearance. He was in the holiday special as a cartoon, but it's a sticker insert. The letter stickers are popular. People are trying to complete the entire phrases with them.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like Spellbound, right? If you compare it to sports.
Yep. Good comparison.
Chewbacca, great character. Bounty hunters, awesome characters. If you like to read and you're into Star Wars, there's a bounty hunter series of books that came out in it was the mid '90s when Star Wars was dead, filmatically anyway. No new Star Wars was out. And somebody wrote an entire series of books on just the bounty hunters, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really think that this is a yes. It's original trilogy stuff. It's vintage. It's in great shape. The card looks, from what I can see anyway, looks like it's in good shape. Stickers are nice and vibrant and attached to the card well. First appearances of Boba Fett, from that set. So I would say slam dunk.
Slam dunk. Looks like the chat agrees as well. Dan says absolutely yes. Joe says absolutely yes. And with 3 exclamation marks. So he's really on board.
Yeah, I guess.
Max says gotta be. And Wolfie Joe says yes as well. Let's take a look. That's a yes.
That's a yes from the Chewie.
That is a yes from Chewie, and we got the lightsaber in there.
Nice.
Yeah. So quite a bit of sales when you look at Chewbacca and Boba Fett. Those are some of the higher sales numbers you'll find in Star Wars on eBay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right, moving on.
Vintage sticker insert, it's got a lot of cool things going for it.
Right. Now, we've got a Captain Phasma who was all the rage when the new movies came out. There was a lot of fanfare around Captain Phasma.
Yeah, complete disappointment. She didn't really get to do anything in the movies. In fact, was kind of a bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
So again, if you're not a Star Wars, fan, I want to kind of tell you the story a bit. So she's basically a clone trooper, but higher ranks, and so she has this special armor, this very shiny silver armor. So we're like, oh, she's going to be awesome, and she kind of helped people sneak into a little room to hide, and she's also played by Gwendolyn.
From Game of Thrones.
Correct. She was in Game of Thrones. It's the super tall blonde lady with the blonde short hair. Super fan base. People love her. But the character was just completely fell flat. The costume is cool. The actress playing her was cool. So you thought, oh, this could really be something, but unfortunately, it is not. Now, this is a Star Wars Topps card from, what set is this? Is this one of the movie sets?
It is. It's one of the subsets they put out.
So nothing super spectacular with the card. It's not a short print. It's not chrome. I would say chrome Phasma cards could do a little better because of the chrome kind of color. Think of color match, right? To the extreme.
Yeah.
But I don't, the picture is okay. It's, so I'm going to say no over this one, for this one.
Or no on this one?
Or no.
All right. I would agree. I feel like they left a lot on the table with this character in the movies. It had such potential, and then they really didn't do anything with it. So Max says Gwendolyn Christie to finish.
Correct.
The name.
That's right. Yeah. Yep, he's right. I stink really bad at celebrity names. Obviously.
Dan says the rage is over to me, so I think he's an Erno. And Joe says nah. Let's see what we get.
There you go.
These aren't the droids we're looking for. Move along.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for droids, she's not even a droid, so you completely missed the mark. Go drink your blue milk and sit in the corner.
There you go. All right, who's next? Ezra Bridger.
Ooh.
Rebel.
Yeah, this one's kind of along the same lines of Ahsoka, in the fact that it was a character they were really trying to build an entire universe around as a younger boy. I don't know. I don't think that his story seemed captivating enough to really put a focus on himself. He
Okay.
has been played as a live action character now in one of the shows. I can't remember what show it was. Was it Obi-Wan?
No.
I can't remember.
It was
Andor? Was it
after
the
Obi-Wan.
Andor? Was it the Andor show? I know
Uh,
they all kind of blend together after a while, but
it was the
we
one
did
you
see
didn't
it.
like that I watched.
Was it Book of Boba Fett?
No, it was after that. It was just last year, like early last year.
Well, it wasn't Bad Batch.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Trying to think of
Um,
what show. I know I saw him on it, but I can't remember which one it was. They all blend together after a while.
yeah.
I thought it was maybe the Cassian show. Well, anyway, I think again there could have been a lot of potential there. I don't think he captured a lot of imaginations and had a big following for the character. This particular card is a Topps Chrome base card. Decent looking card, but I don't think the character adds anything to it. There's no parallel. There's no serial numbering. Nothing else to bonus point it up into being a hobby winner. So I'm going to be these aren't the droids you're looking for on this one.
It was either Ahsoka or the Acolyte. I think it was the Acolyte.
Yeah, that show sucked. So that doesn't help.
Calm down.
Yeah, this is bad. It's bad, Charlie.
So we do have a Chrome card there. So his character is mainly focused in the Clone Wars, right?
Yep.
The animated series was in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, he was on that ship with Hera and all those people, kind of going after the Inquisitor and all that stuff as far as like the enemies and just trying to kind of make their way. But yeah,
and they're starting to make callbacks to some of those characters in the animated series now in the live action ones later.
Yep.
The guy that kind of gave Ezra Bridger guidance, I don't remember his name, but there was a callback to him in one of the recent series as well.
It's Kanan Jarrus.
There you go. Yeah. He was in the Acolyte too.
Yes, he was. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I don't think there's a huge market, but I think for diehard Star Wars fans, I think there's name recognition there.
Sure.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
But not enough.
No.
Yeah, just very weak sales for Ezra Bridger of any type of card.
Yeah, I've sold a couple, but it's extremely sporadic. It certainly wouldn't be a character like I would be going after.
Yeah.
So.
I believe his numbers in my 6-month sales search was maybe like 8 to 10 cards sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
They were probably rarer cards too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it might have been somebody just buying the complete sets or, something like that, not even, looking for Ezra cards themselves.
Yep. I mean, looks like we're all in alignment that's just not someone to seek out. Jabba.
Tonga Wonga. All right. Jabba, one of the greatest characters in the history of film, gangster, right? No mercy, dresses our little Leia, puts her in that fancy outfit and chains her to the wall and puts Han in carbonite. I mean, he's a true bad guy, right?
Yep.
Big, giant, slobby looking guy. He takes those live looking, frog things and just throws them in his mouth, and they're kind of, fighting to get out, and just an awesome character.
Yep.
So we kind of got the same thing we saw earlier too. We've got our vintage set here, which is good. It's a sticker card, so it's a one per pack.
Yep.
Great character, good photo. I like that it's not a regular rectangle or square picture. They kind of did this fun little trapezoid border with it, and yeah, all day I would buy a card like this. It's got to have good hobby.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's on board in the chat with this one. Dan says yes. Max says yes. Joe loves the Jabba all day, he says. And then we've got a little bit of info on Ezra Bridger. Seabad Callie says Ezra was in Ahsoka live action show, and they very much downgraded the character. Yeah, I would agree. It wasn't a big role.
Yeah, I told you it was Ahsoka.
You were right.
I agree, because I think I don't think they know what to do with him. Like, he's important enough that if you're going to have Ahsoka and Hera and these characters, Sabine, Ren, those characters, you got to have Ezra show up. But it felt forced. It was like, all right, Ezra, come on, you can be on screen too, and it just they just weren't doing much with him. And Sabine Wren is a great character. Hera Syndulla is a good character. Obviously, we talked about Ahsoka. There's a lot of strength in that crew. Even Kanan Jarrus isn't a terrible character.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ezra just kind of gets left behind, and I just don't think there's much, available with him.
Yeah. Well, let's see the final word on Jabba.
What?
Patience. Surprisingly, not a whole lot of sales strength for Jabba cards. And I thought that I would see some big numbers for Jabba. So I was really surprised when I did not see that.
Yeah, but I think there can be an exception made for, like, if that was just a plain old base modern Topps card, I could see maybe being in the patience level, but vintage sticker card, it was in good condition, great photo.
Yeah,
I think that helps. That could be one of those Jabba sales.
I would agree with that. That's probably a better option to get a Jabba sale.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, BB-8.
That's an interesting card. I don't know what that's from.
That's a Topps 206 mini.
Oh, 206. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's funny he has a mini because he's a tiny robot. Okay, so here's my thing with BB-8. BB-8 was huge when he first came out. It was like a ball with a head that rolls across. Like, the technology portion of it was so intriguing.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's a real life droid. I have friends who have built them. So the physics is correct. It wasn't CGI like everybody thought it was. I mean, they use CGI for parts of the movie, like when he's flying through the air and he throws out the ropes to catch on, and like, that's not real, of course. But as far as a ball rolling around with a head on top that balances on it is real deal.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people bought into that. But I think it's lost its flair. I don't think anyone cares anymore. He's not a key droid in any of the new series. Sequel movies were not that well received. So I don't know that he's got a ton of hobby. The T206 is pretty cool. I like that they took some properties that wouldn't have had tobacco cards and gave them tobacco cards. I like that part of it. I like the card design and the picture. It looks great. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one. I think if it was just, again, a normal base card, I think I'd probably be a thumbs down. But I'm going to give it a patience, just because I like the set. I like the card design. It's a mini. There is a big fan of droids, because there's a lot of people who build droids, and and BB-8 was super hot at one time.
He was.
So I've met the designer of the droid. A super nice guy. I think you have an autograph card of him.
I do.
I never got his autograph, but I was in a couple different events where he was at, and super nice guy. Did you know that most of the droids that they used in the movies though were operated with a stick? So
I
they,
think I've seen that in behind the scenes footage. Yeah.
because there's certain surfaces where like a ball doesn't work very well.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they have a stick that goes basically it's a green stick, so you can edit it out, but it basically attaches to the back of the droid, so they can like force the ball to
Right.
roll over bumps or a step, go up a step or whatever it has to do. Um, so the practical effects of this droid, I think, give it some bonus points because it was just nothing had ever been done like that before. But it's not enough. It's not enough to give it strong card hobby.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say patience on this one because I think long term it could have a little bit more play, and I like the set and I like the design and the mini, so it gets enough bonus points to put it in the patience for me.
Yeah. Dan agrees with you on patience. Joe says he's not a fan. Max calls out T206 Star Wars. Absolutely right. I sell these in spurts.
Yeah,
I've had. Oh, I got a lot of them. I bought a big lot of them like a year ago, and I'm still selling through that lot. But at times, I'll sell 5 or 6 of them in a week, and then I won't sell
yeah,
any for a couple months. And I think they're mostly set collectors that are trying to complete the whole set, and they came out in waves. There's wave 1, wave 2, wave 3.
okay,
So they're kind of interesting that way too. Here's my take on BB-8. Did you used to watch the Dukes of Hazzard?
of course.
Do you remember when Bo and Luke left and Coy and Vance came in?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I do.
That,
So you're gonna say he's not R2D2?
I'm going to say he's R2D2's cousin who came in the prequels.
That's actually a pretty fair comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I like BB-8. I thought he was entertaining in the movies. I thought they captured the same type of droid attitude that R2D2 had.
Yep,
But he does. You're right. He doesn't have the staying power. Like he had a finite role in those movies, and then you never see him again.
yep.
Yeah,
Because there was BB-8 stuff everywhere. There was plushies
there
and
was. Yeah,
plastic cups at the restaurants, and BB. You could get BB-8 sheets, with just BB-8 on them.
yep,
There was tons of toys. There was the Sphero, which is like an advanced robotics toy.
yep.
Um, that came out, and they sold out in a day, and so there was definitely a hype level,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not there, not even close anymore. And he's not active. He's not in anything. So
Right,
there's nothing to
right.
bring him back to the front to encourage new sales, unlike Ahsoka and Ezra and some of these other characters we've been talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Boomslang's got a fair statement here too.
What's that?
So they took the technology from Fisher Price and that popper thing that kids pushed around with the
Oh,
clear bubble on top and 2 wheels, and the balls inside would pop up and hit the plastic dome.
yeah. I mean, kind of, but to a much larger scale. They had also turns independently. I mean, I have a pretty good replica BB-8 droid that's fun as hell to drive. And you can
Yeah.
turn the head, it can tilt, it talks, it's got the light. So yeah, I mean, for the physics of it, you're right. I guess that popper thing kind of maybe was an inspiration to take something like this to the next level. But
Yeah.
ooh, excuse me, but yeah, definitely.
So I think you said patience, don't buy too heavy, expect to sit
Yep.
on them for a while, turning them. Let's see. You would be shocked at the sales data for BB-8.
Really.
It is very strong.
And
Again,
I list a bunch of them, but they don't, and I sell some, but not
yeah.
like super fast.
Yeah, again, I found it surprising at how strong it was. Some of the things, it's interesting when you're a fan and you're like, oh, people are going to be for this all day. And then you look at the sales data and there's really just a trickle of sales.
Yeah.
And then we see something like this and we're like, pretty limited, but sales are pretty strong on BB-8.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's what I love. That's what I love about this game, because I think it's important to not just think and actually see what's out there.
Right. All right, what do we got next? It's a trap.
Admiral Snack Bar. He's a Mon Calamari. So there's that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say, again, very limited role. He was a cool character for his 10 seconds of screen time. This card doesn't particularly do much for me. It's also not hit in his vintage role. It's when they brought him back in the new films.
Yeah.
Just the top space card. So I'm gonna say thumbs down on this one.
Thumbs down. These are not the droids we're looking for?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I tend to agree. I think everybody knows Admiral Akbar and It's a Trap. Family Guy had fun with it and stuff. But I don't think there's much demand for their cards.
Yeah, I agree.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
There we go.
Absolutely not. Little to no sales. All right, up next, Darth Maul.
Yeah, no brainer. Darth Maul has always been popular, even when the prequels were kind of poo-pooed for being disappointing after the original films. Ray Park, is out there at every convention and twirling lightsabers and signing autographs, and just a really cool Sith. He has the first character ever with the double-bladed lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at this card, I know they're all refractors. This isn't a parallel, but insert refractors. It's the Sith gear, insert set. Great photo of them. Shiny, tops chrome, all those positive things. So gets enough bonus points for that. So I'm an absolutely yes for this one.
Also wins the category of most cleanly cut in half.
That's true. Although he didn't die from that, because why would you?
Yeah.
He ends up coming back with spider legs later on. But you're right. That's a good point, though. Like, essentially, he died in episode 1 and should have had a short role, but they found ways to bring him back. So he's still relevant with some new stories, and I'm sure we'll see him more in the future as well.
So I see Darth Maul as probably number 2, only to Vader on the bad guys list.
Yep, well, for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's see what we got. Patience.
Really?
Patience. Sales data would suggest that although Darth Maul sells not at the level of a lot of other characters.
Really? So you're telling me BB-8 outsells Darth Maul?
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, that doesn't seem correct.
Unless there was some kind of weird thing going on in the last 6 months that just propelled BB-8 over him.
and you never know. It depends on the buying habits, right? You might have had somebody who just
BB-8 Appreciation Day in there. I don't know.
Cleaned out all the BB-8s because they were building a droid or something. Who knows? All right.
Maybe the unbelievability of getting cut in half, and as Dan says, falls down a long shaft and lives, was just too much for eBay buyers out there.
That's the power of the Sith, my man.
That is true. I mean, you think of Anakin Skywalker, who became Darth Vader. He's half man and half machine by the time he's Vader, right? So,
yep.
And he was also in half on Mustafar, right? Like his whole lower half was burned in the lava.
Well, right, and he lost his, his arms and his legs. He should have taken the high ground.
So
Um,
scientifically, lava and or a lightsaber cauterizes.
that's what they're trying to make you believe. Okay, you guys do have to realize this is a movie, so there's that.
What?
Yes,
I thought this was
Star Wars in real life would be terrifying. So let's just leave it as being a film.
All right,
Um,
moving on. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah,
And not just any Obi-Wan Kenobi, but the original, older, wiser wizard Ben Kenobi.
mhm. Played by the wonderful, irreplaceable Sir Alec Guinness.
Correct.
For me, this is a no-brainer because, again, you got your original trilogy, you got your main characters. Obi-Wan is so important. Sir Alec Guinness, you got a great actor. Great looking set with the T206. Has that great vintage look for him. Nice photo. I assume it's a mini, like all 206s.
Yeah, all the T206 are, yeah.
I don't know if they threw some full-size cards in the set. Who knows? They do weird stuff with that.
That's a good point because there are some baseball cards that are tops 206, but they're full size.
Correct. So I would say that this is a yes for me. And Obi-Wan sells well for me. When I sell the vintage Obi-Wans, I can get some pretty good money for them if they're in good shape. So
okay.
So I feel like buyers are even kind of paying up a little bit to get good Obi-Wan cards. The character's always been relevant in the films, all the way up through the prequels, and now he has his own series. You got Ewan McGregor playing him as a younger Obi-Wan, and he's got a huge fan base. I mean, Trainspotting was magnifique. And well-paid actor. I think he's definitely they're going to try to get as much out of him as they can. So I think he's a no-brainer.
Yeah, so you're a yes. Seabag Cali, love it. He says, now that's a name I haven't heard in many years. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He's old Ben.
That old wizard?
Ben Kenobi. Yeah.
We got a yes from Boomslang. We got a yes from Dan. Easy yes, he says. Let's see what eBay said. Patience.
Yeah, I'm not shocked by that. Just if you're going to compare him to other characters and their sales, I wouldn't put him in like the top 10.
But like Boomslang says, he's our only hope.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Well, he's not, because that didn't work out at all. But I think I can see that. To me, the card gets bonus points though.
Yeah.
The T206, that vintage design with the older actor and Sir Alec Guinness, being part of that versus like the modern Obi-Wan. I think that gives it enough for that particular card to push it above the Patience. That would be an investment.
All right.
A buy and flip.
See if I can jump back ahead properly. There we go.
Yeah, just let it play.
Han Solo. Rebel Alliance.
Yeah, this one's actually kind of tough for me. I don't sell a ton of Han Solo, but I mean, it's Harrison Ford, so there's that obvious part of it.
Yeah.
This is Topps Chrome, but it is a base card. Not that great a photo. So the card doesn't really get bonus points for me that way.
It's the Costco Super Box.
Well, it's not. That's the regular version. The Super Box has like the regular frame to it. It came from a Super Box, but it's not the Super Box card.
Right.
where you get the super box packs. So I guess I'd still have to say yes. I mean, he's one of the main 4 characters from the original film. If you're looking at, Luke, Han, Chewie, and R2 on the good side. I guess C-3PO you could throw in there too, and Leia.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine he wouldn't sell low. The thing that helps Han Solo stuff sell is autos, because he never signs anything. You can only get it. Like, he doesn't. I mean, he was at Celebration, the last Celebration I was at in Chicago, and literally took a bus into the back of the building where no one could go.
Mm-hmm.
Came out, did his thing, went back out on the bus, and left. Didn't sign, didn't schedule any signings, and even if he did, it would be like $2,000 an autograph or something.
Yeah.
So I think that would help. If we're talking about the hobby portion of it, his autos are no brainers. As far as sales. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to say yes, just because he's one of the main original characters, the actor, and the demand for his autograph.
You're going to say yes? I see Max is covering all his bases. He says no, but he'd assume yes, but he doesn't know. Dan says he has to say patience because it's too new a card. If it was vintage, he'd say yes.
I think that's a fair point, Dan.
Okay. All right, let's see what we got. Patience.
Yep.
Patience. Yeah, I would say of the original stars, his character sells lower, probably lowest of some of the original main characters.
Yep, and that would not surprise me at all. So yeah, that makes sense.
Seabad Callie says, "Never tell me the odds."
All right.
I love that. He's such a scoundrel.
Great shot, kid.
All right, moving on. Finn.
I really wanted to like Finn, but they screwed him up so bad. J.J. Abrams did a great job with him in Force Awakens, kind of introducing him and making him into something. And then Rian Johnson just totally threw that away in the second movie.
Yeah.
And he couldn't really recover in Last Jedi, which also wasn't a very good movie. It's my least favorite of all 9 movies. So it didn't give him like a lot of hope, I guess. I don't really see them bringing this character back to do anything. The guy who played Finn, I can't remember his name. Super nice guy. I caught him walking the floor at Celebration, and like he was nice and would take pictures of people and do signatures and stuff. But
yeah,
I just don't think there's enough strength in him or the character or his desire to continue the character or anything like that to see a future. This card design's kind of fun, sort of sketchy looking. Yeah, but not enough to really get it anywhere. So I'm a no on this one.
Okay, you're a no. We got a couple no's in the chat. Keith All's just joining us late to the game here, but he made it. That's all that really matters is he made it.
Yeah, we got plenty of game left, so come and play.
That's right. And Seabad Callie says, "Nice jacket, though."
Yeah, it suits you.
So what I'll tell you on this one is I found myself very surprised.
Is he a good seller? Yeah.
Huge seller compared to what I thought it would be. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I thought he would be kind of a middle of the road to maybe even really low seller.
Really I would have too.
Sales. I was truly shocked. Yeah.
That's interesting.
And I don't, trying to think about what is it. Him
and BB-8. That's strange.
Yeah.
Those two are weird for me.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
That's why I do this game, Charlie. You're
All
here to
right,
save
we got
us.
a vehicle card. We got Poe Dameron's X-Wing, and I would say look at this in terms of really any X-Wing. I have
Sure.
Poe Dameron's X-Wing here as an example, which is only different because of the color scheme, I believe.
Yep.
But I would look at it as X-Wings overall as one of the most iconic vehicles in the whole series.
Yeah, and vehicles cards can sell well. I'm not going to say Poe Dameron's X-Wing would really be the best representation for sales, but obviously, yeah, all the red 5 and Luke's X-Wing and Dax and those characters that are beloved from the original trilogy that do the trench run. Huh?
Porkins.
Yep, and you got Porkins, of course. Let's see. I don't know. This one's kind of tough too. I'm gonna say, I think in the long run, I think the vehicle cards will get bigger. I don't know that they are right now, so I'm gonna say patience. Okay. This particular card is a Star Wars base, just a top space card. Poe Dameron, so I don't give it any extra points for that. But yeah, as an X-Wing card overall, I'm going to say flat patience.
I love Seabag Callie says stay on target. I quote that often in my life, and I don't know that my family understands why.
It's whether you like Star Wars or not, it's part of life. Like, it's quoted more often than any other film in history. It has some great characters, some great quotes, and yeah, even if you don't like it as a film, it's got some value besides that.
Yeah. Max says Star Wars to a lot of people is Daisy and Boyega.
That's weird. Not Star Wars people I talk to.
I think the younger generation that probably sees.
I could definitely see Daisy. I mean, she's Rey, so that makes some sense. But
yeah,
they didn't do a great job with Finn after that first film. I thought they did a great job starting him out, and then they just totally jumped the shark with it.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's my personal opinion. So I'm that probably makes me biased to the hobby part of it because I didn't really like it myself. But
right,
if they sell, I'll be buying them to sell. So,
Dan's asking, does the Falcon count with this one? No. So here's what I'll say. In general, I tend to feel like vehicles are not the hardiest of sellers. I've got some cool AT-AT Walker cards and snow speeders, which I love looking at, but they don't sell really for me.
Yeah.
I picked the X-Wing because I could narrow down a search to get a specific vehicle that I thought was kind of iconic. So when I looked at sales data, I just put in X-Wing. So Falcon would not be included on that. I think Falcon probably would be a little better than the X-Wing.
I would agree. The Slave One stuff sells very well. Boba Fett's ship.
Yeah, Slave One.
Some of the bigger.
What do they rename it to now?
Oh, yeah, you're right. They had to change the name. I don't know. It's Slave One to me forever. So
yeah,
just like it's Slave Leia too. It's not it's not Prisoner Leia or whatever they try to change it to.
Yeah.
Once something is a thing, leave it alone. Don't change it. In the future, fine. Don't call it Slave whatever. But it was a ship. How are you offended by a ship? But anyway, yeah, I would say there's maybe a couple of ships that would fall under the exception for sales. Now, I sold a Slave One card yesterday, and today I sold a robot card.
Okay.
The probe droid.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you can sell that stuff, and that's just within 2 days. And Dan brought up a good point. He says, "What about the destroyers?" That's what I was trying to say when I said, the larger empirical ships.
Yeah.
Those can sell okay too. The Executor is an amazing ship. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I would say the X-wing. Meh. I don't think it has a lot going for it right now, but
Okay.
I think we could have more ship buying in the future. So I would say patience on that one.
I think of it as a kid growing up and fantasizing about Star Wars and being a pilot. It was an X-wing that I was flying all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And Max comments,
They are cool. How they have the 2 wings and then they split to the 4 wings and
lock S foils and attack position.
yeah, it's a great design. It's slick looking. It's very space opera future type stuff. So nothing against the ship, just as a card, I'm going to say it doesn't have a lot of strength.
All right. And Max commented on the Daisy and Boyega reference earlier. He says younger gen than me. BB-8 sales data shows, and I think that's a valid comment. That's probably why BB-8 sales are so much higher than we thought. Younger generation, that's a toy for them that they all had, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So, all right, let's see what the X-wing did. Patience sells a little bit, not gangbusters, but enough to warrant a look here and there.
That's kind of how I felt about it too. So
Okay. Jyn Erso, Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, so of all the modern films, this is by far the best. Rogue One was an amazing film. I don't know how much it was kind of meant to be a one and done with the cast. It was just like to tell that pre-story, and then they all died, right? So
yeah.
Spoiler alert. But Jyn Erso again, played by is that Amelia Clark? No, Amelia Clark was Kira, right? This is trying to think of who played her.
I can't think of her name.
I'm gonna have to look it up. See, I'm really bad at that. I shouldn't be.
Dan, that's a gold foil, but it's not.
Felicity.
It's not numbered.
It's Felicity Jones.
Felicity Jones. Okay.
Felicity Jones. Yeah, very popular actress. She did a great job in the film. Keith is right. Rogue One was the best new film. I give it bonus points. I like the design. I like the gold foil. It's shiny.
Yep.
So if we're talking about this particular card, I give it bonus points for that. So I'm gonna say she's a thumbs up.
Okay. All right. Keith says it's parallel, so he's all on board. I will say that Jyn Erso is not a character that resonated with me in the stories. It's not a character I think about when someone says something to talk about Star Wars. So for me, it would be a tough pickup. Let's see. Patience, Yoda says.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I think long term, that is the movie that will continue to be recognized as the best modern film. Okay. And what's kind of unique about that movie over many of the other ones is it's kind of a standalone, right? Because it leads into Episode 4, which is actually the first movie made in '77. But then that's it. That's the story of those characters, and then they're done. They did their part.
Yeah.
The CGI Leia at the end, going on the ship to to hide the plans in R2, and that's kind of how it all ended. You had Vader kind of busting through the hallway there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of show that lead into the original film. So it has a lot of significance that way. Leia or Carrie Fisher also passed away just a few weeks after that movie came out.
Yeah.
So kind of some significance with that, or maybe it was a few weeks before. It was like right around there, almost to the release day of that movie. And yes, Keith has said the Darth Vader part at the end was fire, though. Yeah, they made Vader into like a total badass, and in that piece of the movie. So I think long term that movie is really going to carry a lot of that, and Jyn Erso is a pretty good character in that film and significant to the storyline. So I kind of disagree with you there, Charlie. I think without her, it would have been pretty tough to do that film.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my take, but I could see Patience on that one. Now, I would much rather have cards of her than Finn.
Okay.
Because I think Finn is just a dead end character. I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
Interesting. All right. Let's see who else we got. Kylo Ren.
Ugh. I'm not a huge fan of the character. I love Adam Driver. I think he's amazing. I think the character could have been great. I get them trying to play the angle of, wannabe grandson type of deal. I gotta be bad. I gotta be bad like Grandpa. I don't want to be like you, Han.
Yeah.
Put your shirt on. That's funny. Yeah, he does that whole scene with her without a shirt on. Like, why? What is the point of it? But I don't know. I gotta figure it's gonna be big because he was the main villain for those last 3 films. So, playing that Darth Vader type angle. And Kylo Ren stuff sells for me. When I get it, I list it, and it does sell. So, if we're going from that aspect of it, this particular card, no, it doesn't. It's him sitting in a ship. He doesn't even have the helmet on. Topps base. This was not a very good set for Topps from what I've been seeing here.
Yeah.
But I would say a yes based on the character and my sales experience. He definitely sells.
Okay. All right. Max's Driver plus modern villain has to be a yes.
Yeah, and Driver was awesome. I just don't. The character was a little too whiny and weak, but
I get where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Patience.
Yeah,
Okay.
Patience. So sales aren't quite as strong as I expected they would be for Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Remember before I said I think Darth Maul is probably villain number 2, and then I would say Kylo Ren is probably number 3 for me.
Yeah, I wonder to some degree if the sales numbers are skewed based on listings though too, because I would just think that there's a lot more Finn cards listed and BB-8 cards listed than there are Jabba the Hutt cards, right? So you see more you see more sales for Finn and BB-8 than you do Jabba because there's more available.
Yeah, I don't know, because they print all those original characters in all the modern sets too, though.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting when my saying go from fields to reels, right? When I start pulling the actual sales data, I always find some surprises in there that I thought I knew what was going and what wouldn't, and then I see the sales data, I'm like, I was off the mark on some of that.
Yeah.
All right, who's up next? A Gamorrean fighter. I typically think of them as the Gamorrean guard at Jabba's palace. Same species, same character essentially.
Yep, the pig guards.
Yep.
Yeah, they guard where the Rancor is kept and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I like this card actually. I do like these T206s. I might have to pick some of these up.
I've got some available. Just let me know.
cool looking card. I'm gonna say no.
No for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I mean, he's just too much of a standard generic character. He doesn't really have any importance, and he's there to die. That's about it. So yeah, I would say no.
Keith All says he belongs in a wall. He's a stud.
You're gonna carbonite freeze them and hang them on your wall.
There you go. There you go. Max wants to see some of the demographics behind the sales data. He thinks that would tell us a lot, and I think he's probably right.
Yeah,
that would be interesting to take a closer look at
see the
that.
ages. Yeah,
I don't recall if that's in the sales data or not. I don't think it is.
I don't think for them it seems relevant, so they probably just don't bother tracking it.
Right. Dan says nope. I will tell you it's one of the more memorable characters for me, but I wouldn't necessarily expect to find a lot of sales data.
Yeah, and the costume wasn't that well done. There's a lot of errors with it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just a throw-in character. Hey, let's put this guy in a pig suit and he can watch the Rancor.
Yeah. So just not a lot of sales data on that one. Not what we're looking for when we're picking up Star Wars. I forgot about this. Seaback Callie says awesome WWE match in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, they kind of had that paid wrestling thing going on, and there was he's right. That was pretty epic. I did enjoy that scene. Mandalorian, great show.
Book of Boba Fett, not so great.
No. Acolyte, absolutely 100% zero.
Listen to you. You're too caught up in the original trilogy.
It's the original trilogy, dude. Don't even start.
You need to broaden your horizons.
No. Not if it's gonna damage the original picture.
You're on to the Ewoks. Wicket W. Warwick.
Yeah, played by Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
A little person, which they decided not to do in Snow White, which I hear is kind of backfiring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently. Well, there's an actors guild for little people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "What the hell? You're not gonna we need work, and Snow White kind of makes sense for us,
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but Warwick Davis is a great person. Like, he's a great. I've got some cool pictures of me with him. I should share those with you later. He rides around on this little scooter all through the convention and stuff. Super nice guy. Does a lot of the hosting of the events. He's a great MC. He was in Willow. So actor-wise, very strong there. The character, people are like love it or hate it with these murder bears. The murder bears. So, but I think it's more love than hate at this point. Our generation has grown up now. We watched the murder bears as kids, and we were like, "Oh, look at the cute little murder bears." They were important to the storyline. They basically saved the rebellion.
Yeah.
So I would say out of all the Ewoks, it's definitely Wicket is the star of that show.
Okay.
I'm going to say a yes on this one.
You're a yes?
Yep. But again, it's an old guy voting, so the kids are probably like, I don't care about the murder bears, but
right.
I don't know.
Right. They're like, show me the porgs.
Right. Now, this is an actual Superbox card.
Yes.
This design is. So it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars. Of course it's Star Wars. It's Topps Chrome. It's Superbox, so short printed, if you will. So to me, the card, I love the design. Great photo of the character. To me, that get some bonus points for that as well. But basically, we're rating the characters in this show. So I'll say yes.
All right. And we learned something new about Keith All tonight. He says, for me, hell yes. I've got a Wicket Funko Pop on my card table.
There you go.
Yeah.
I got a Wampa head sitting on the floor behind me, so you're not weird, dude.
I've got a Stormtrooper and a Boba Fett helmet sitting next to me.
Nice.
Seabad Callie says Lucas originally wrote the Endor segment to be the homeworld of the Wookiees, but was convinced to switch to teddy bears for the children.
Yeah, what's interesting about that is he didn't really give up on that idea. So when he wrote the prequel movies, he created Kashyyyk, which is, of course, the planet for the Wookiees, because he's like, I'm going to this damn Wookiee planet, and we're going to have multiple Wookiees in a Wookiee land, and he did it. So he
Yeah.
kind of got both. He kind of got both in the end, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Dan's a patience for him. Let's see what we got.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Yeah.
No. So I did eBay sales searches for both Wicket, specifically by name, and I did Ewoks in general, and hardly anything.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Yeah.
These kids need to go back and watch the original films and get an appreciation for the original storyline, I think.
There you go. Watto.
Yeah. Another great character. The prequels were in short supply of strong characters. I thought Watto was a lot of fun. He's a Tansdarian, which is kind of a fun name for a species. He has his chance cubes, so he leaves everything up to, arbitrary rolls of dice, which is kind of fun. Had that great little junk shop that he owned, and great voice, right? He was very, hey, what are you looking at?
Great opportunity here, methinks. Hey.
Oh, the boy, you want the boy. A winged character, which was something they hadn't done a lot of, so that was kind of fun to see a winged puppet flying around, although most of it wasn't practical. And episode 1, it was almost all CGI, but still. But no, I don't think anybody cares. So not that significant. It was in the prequel movies, which, as we are discovering here, it seems like the sequel movies are the bigger sales right now, which is unfortunate because the movies aren't very good. But I'm gonna say I like the card. Again, I love these T206s.
Yeah.
But I would say no.
I would say so Max just wants you to know production is just poor from what you've heard on the old G films.
They were made in 1977, so yes, the quality is not. Now, that being said, anything up to the point of Star Wars was nothing. Like, Star Wars broke all the rules.
True. Yeah.
Including getting George Lucas got kicked out of the Screenwriters Guild. Did you know that because of Star Wars?
No, I wasn't familiar with that story.
Well, he refused to put credits at the beginning of his movie. That was required. That was part of the agreement with the Actors Guild, was to credit, the main actors and director or whatever. And he's like, no, I don't want that. I want the crawl, and then I want this giant ship to come overhead.
Yeah.
And I don't want stupid names on the bottom of the screen, which was the correct decision. But the crawl, all those things, that's all Star Wars gets credit for all of that stuff. A lot of the miniature work, kit bashing, taking models and just making new stuff out of them. It's like Star Wars or not, it's kind of like I hate the Beatles. They didn't do anything for music. Okay, come on, even if you don't like the Beatles, you gotta give them their props for what they did. So
yeah,
but yeah, I don't think the Watto is going to be a strong sale.
Okay. Seabad Callie says his son is in film school and his professor asked the students to raise their hands if they have seen the original Star Wars movies. He was one of 4 to raise their hands. Shocking.
Yeah, that's not good.
Shocking. Yeah.
No, that's not good.
Here's my take on Watto. I felt a little bit uncomfortable in Watto's scenes in the movie. I felt that there were too many similarities to a lot of stereotypes, and it made me feel a little uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's going to weigh into the kind of market, the kind of hobby that Watto has as well.
Yeah, and it was made during a different time, where stereotypes were almost encouraged because audiences could understand them easily.
True.
But you're right. In the world of let's not pigeonhole or put everybody in a box, probably
Yeah.
not the best idea.
Yeah.
So,
So we got the thumbs down.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool man Lando.
Colt 45. Remember those Colt 45 commercials?
I
He
do.
was so amazing. He's not a very nice person in real life.
Really?
Yeah, I'm friends with his son on Facebook. His son has a band and stuff,
Okay.
and super nice guy. But he always posts this stuff about his dad, and his dad's such a dick. So it kind of makes me chuckle. But I've seen him at a couple conventions. He's struggling now as he's older. He has a lot of physical challenges and stuff.
Yeah.
So probably doesn't help his demeanor as much. But
Okay.
yeah, he always kind of felt like he wasn't recognized enough as some of the other characters, and it's like, yeah, you're just Lando, dude.
see that,
You know, he wanted to be like recognized like Luke, and I'm like, yeah, that's not how that thing works. So
Yeah.
I do like the card. I love the gold foil parallels, of course. Decent photo. I would say he's not going to be a top seller. I mean, they did make when they made the solo film, and they had what's his name, the actor, singer, dancer guy, play him. Can't think of his name because I'm terrible at celebrity names. I just saw his Saturday Night Live highlights the other night too. I can't think of his name. He plays the Childish Bambino as his
Yes.
music name.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he did a great job. He was better than the original actor. Again, I can't think of his name now, but
yeah, I don't know it either.
Anyway, so I like the card, but I'm gonna have to say patience. I think he has sales, but I don't think it's strong.
Max helps us out here. He says Donald Glover is.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's correct.
Is that Danny Glover's son?
No, it's not.
Okay. All right.
No.
All right. Seabag Callie's got the quotes.
Yeah. This was fun. I'm having fun with this.
So,
Billy D. Williams. Yeah, Billy D. Williams is this actor here. Yeah.
My take on sorry, I'm giggling at Dr. Mantis T-Boggin.
Yeah.
My take on Lando is his ceiling is low in the hop, right? Like, I think as a collector of Star Wars, you have to have some Lando, but you're probably only looking for just enough to fill those sets, right?
If they made a card with him holding a Colt 45, I'd buy like a freaking stack of those.
Right.
You know, they did make an advertising piece. There's like a big cutout standee type thing of him with the Colt 45.
Yeah.
That would sell all day long on eBay. His trading cards, probably not as much.
Let's see what eBay told us. Patience.
Yeah.
Gotta wait on him. All right. Grogu, or as some call him, Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. I call him Kevin. Yeah, he didn't have a name for a long time, as we all know. And so we always called him Kevin, when the show first came out. I was still pretty big into Star Wars when the show came out, and it was, we all kind of watched it together as a group and stuff. But Grogu, I was like, okay, but he's Kevin, so he's still Kevin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is an absolute 1000% no brainer. What was funny was when this character came out. Disney hasn't done Star Wars a lot of favors, in my opinion. But they were completely unprepared. They had no merchandise.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
They spent almost $1 million on this puppet to be in these films, and then they didn't even have an action figure they could put out or a T-shirt.
Yeah,
it took months and months and months and months for them to get anything out for you to purchase with Kevin / Baby Yoda / Grogu on it. Big error. So I think he could be bigger than what he is even. But he's had a great run with the Mandalorian. He's such a fun little character. He does all these little quirky things. He's got the powers of his species. He can levitate things, and he's quirky. He's got his little personality with him, but every time he's in that ship and he tries to steal the shift knob.
Yeah.
It makes me crack up because I'm like, yeah, that's such a toddler thing, and then Mandalorian's always like, hey, leave that alone,
Yeah.
and then he gets kind of sulky and sits in the corner, so then the Mandalorian unscrews it and hands it to him, and it's just great. It's a great dynamic for the hard bounty hunter character that's with him, which was one of the reasons why the show is so great.
Yeah.
You got to have that balance. And the show wouldn't be what it is without Grogu, for sure.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
He's a 1,000% no-brainer.
Yeah, especially we made the comment earlier about the younger generation is all about these modern shows, and Grogu. I can still walk into Target today and see Baby Yoda on the shelves, right?
Yeah,
so
true.
I'm expecting big sales numbers from Baby Yoda. Wasn't as high as I thought it would be.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we've got BB-8, and who was the other one that we were surprised was really high? Finn was really high, right?
Yeah.
Outpacing.
What's weird is I sell a lot of Star Wars, and that this isn't really lining up with my sales experience either. Because any Grogu cards I literally seek out Grogu cards at shows. Like I will buy those.
Yeah.
Over other Star Wars cards, and I sell all of them, no problem.
Yeah, and this one I tried to do some extra digging. I did searches by Grogu and Baby Yoda and put them together.
Yeah.
Just underwhelming sales in the last 6 months.
You didn't search Kevin.
I didn't search Kevin. No, because I didn't want all the Kevin Smith cards.
Right. Yeah, regardless of the information you're giving me tonight, I go a lot based on my own experience. If I see Grogu's in a box versus Finn's in a box, I'm still probably going to buy the Grogu's before I buy the Finns.
Now, you made a good point at the start of the show, too, that the print numbers for some of these Star Wars sets are not nearly as high as these sports sets we often talk about.
Right.
So I think it does limit the sales numbers a little bit, but you would still expect to see some pretty clear distributions of sales among characters. Right. So, take it for what it's worth.
And actually, I would kind of expect to see even bigger numbers for Grogu because they make like 30 different versions of his card in every set.
Right.
In the Mandalorian sets, there's literally like Grogu subsets where he's got like 15, 20 different cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably a bigger shocker to me than Finn. I can kind of see Finn with the modern buyers because he was in all 3 of the modern films. But yeah, the Grogu one is quite shocking.
Yeah. So that brings us to another badass, Moff Gideon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a pretty dedicated cult of fans for Moff Gideon.
There is. He's played by, again, a great actor, very famous actor. Most people know him from, Pollo on Breaking Bad. He ran the chicken joint. But yeah, great personality, great costume, great ship. I love this card. It's the super box, so it's chrome, refractor, so card gets bonus points for me that way.
Yeah.
Looks great with your background too, by the way. How can I say yes to this and then Grogu is a maybe? Like that just doesn't make sense in my brain at all.
Right? Yeah.
But I feel like that's where it's leading me because it does seem like more of the modern characters are the bigger sellers. Now I have Moff Gideon stuff listed, and it hasn't been a huge seller for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, if I'm going off my own experience, I'm going to probably say patience. I just don't think that we've seen enough of the character yet either.
Exactly. That was my thought going in too. Like, cool character, ultimate bad guy. I think he's up there in that top 5 of bad guys. But very limited screen time in the story arc of Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
So, all right, let's see. Dan says apparently the bad guys sell more. I think that's an accurate statement.
I actually think he's completely wrong because that's what I would think. But we just saw BB-8 and
Fair, yeah.
Finn. BB-8 and Finn are 2 of the top sellers, and they're definitely good guys. Kylo Ren did not sell well.
Yeah.
Han Solo is a good guy, so that's probably a bad example. But what's the other bad guy? Jabba the Hutt didn't sell well.
Yeah.
So far, our entire list has been good guys. We're the good sellers.
Yeah.
Better sellers.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, we haven't hit Vader yet. I would say Vader's got to be pretty strong. But
yeah. Well, how did Moff Gideon do?
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
yeah,
Very weak sales. Now, I will tell you personally, I've sold at least 1, maybe 2 Moff Gideon cards. I did have a strong sale for one. I think it sold for like $40 last week. But I haven't sold much in terms of volume.
yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's a character that he got killed off too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Spoiler alert.
yeah, so it's not like there's much more they can do with him.
Right.
Mr. Salamanca.
You have to remember in sci-fi, no one's truly dead, though. You can always do something.
That's probably true.
Yeah, Mr. Salamanca.
Yeah.
He's right.
Is that from Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Okay. Boomslang says it's getting late. He's got to bail. Take care, brother.
See you, man. We don't have too much longer. We'll finish. We'll get through this, and then we'll probably have to hang it up too. It's 10:15. So
yeah. Luke Skywalker.
yeah, I mean, he's still has to be a good seller. I still sell a ton of Luke. I list Luke all the time. He's definitely not the strongest seller, but I would say that I mean he's freaking Luke Skywalker, like literally the reason Star Wars exists. Although the film series is actually about the droids. It's actually about C-3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah.
And their story, but the Skywalker story is the biggest piece of that. But I'm going to have to say yes. I mean, it's Luke Skywalker. There can't be a lot of characters that sell ahead of Luke. He's got to have sales.
You would think, right? Like
Yeah.
it is the character name that anybody could name, right?
Yeah.
Hip hop stars have, tried to use his name for their own celebrity, and it's gotta be up there. You would think. Dan says it's up there.
Probably Patience. Oh, it is up there. Okay.
Yeah, that's a strong seller.
Yeah, I would think.
We got the Sword of Light.
I just feel like I don't know what I'm talking about in this show for some reason.
I know you've given us a lot of behind the scenes stories.
I'm trying to add some, flavor to it a little bit, but yeah. Some of my guesses not so great. Mandalorian, yes. Done.
That was quick.
Well, modern, best character in all the modern series, played by a great actor. The ladies love him.
Ladies
great,
love him.
Great storyline. Show with 4 seasons. I think there's another season coming out shortly. There's a movie in the works. The companion to Grogu, who's popular but apparently not popular enough to sell trading cards. But yeah, Mandalorian, yeah, it has to be. I saw a ton of Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah, I would expect there to be a lot out there as well. Dan agrees. Let's see what the number said.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Shocking.
That can't be right.
Shocking. Yeah.
Yeah, that can't be right.
You check the Mandalorian sales and you will see numbers that are far lower than you expected.
Yeah, I mean, because I sell them, so I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, but we talk about that all the time. You and I can have the same card listed and you'll sell a ton of
Yeah.
them and I won't sell any.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true.
We got the great Samuel L. Jackson, Mace Windu.
No,
No for you.
no.
I don't know if Keith was a no doubt for Mace Windu or if it was for the Mandalorian.
He does not sell any mother effing cards on this mother effing eBay account.
That's a fitting statement.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no because I don't think his character was that strong. And okay, it's amazing.
We got a patience. He sells a few.
He sells a few.
He's got some steady sales, just not a lot.
There's no way he would outsell the Mandalorian. That's impossible.
Not in your store, but if we look at everybody's store,
there's got to be something going on with listings or something that's changing that. Because
could be. Maybe I spelled Mandalorian wrong.
Huh. Maybe the people who are selling them spelled it wrong.
That could be too. All right, we got the stars of the Star Wars universe.
We got some R2 and C-3PO here. Is this a chrome? I like this.
It is a chrome. It's the anniversary reissue set that I recently picked up. I forget what it's technically called, but that's the vibe.
Yeah, and R2 sells really well. C-3PO can be hit or miss for me. But them as a pair, I mean, are you looking at both of them in their sales?
Yeah, we can look at them both together.
I would say yes. Yeah, I'm with Dan. It's yes because of the combo.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Dan says the same. This is a yes because of the combo. Let's see what we got. Absolutely. They both sell really strong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he likes you either.
I don't like you either.
Dr. Evan something, right?
Yep, Evans Bond. Evans Bond. No, it's Evans Bond or something.
Yeah.
Now I gotta look it up.
I thought it was Dr. Evan Corazon or something. All right. Just a couple of cards left here. Did you find it?
Cornelius Evazan.
Evazan. I had it backwards.
I had Evans Bond, so I was close.
Okay. All right.
It's a little bit of a fringe character there, but
it is. But he grows on me through the years.
I think people kind of overlooked the Cantina a bit and how cool it really was.
Yes.
And as the years go on, it's like, remember that character in the Cantina? And we've seen so many of species reoccur in stories that were the original character was in the Cantina. And of course you've got Greedo, Han shot first and all that good stuff too as well. But and that's the first time we meet Han is at the Cantina.
And the iconic music. I actually had the Cantina music ready, but because you're monetized, I was worried about the copyright rules, so I didn't use it.
I appreciate that,
yeah. All right, up next. Porg. We got a Porg. You love them. Just stop. Everybody loves
Porg. Porgs probably do pretty well, but I don't know that they should. They're not really that important. They're less important than Murder Bears. The Murder Bears were a thumb down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to say patience. Because I think stuff sells. I actually run. You guys are going to start thinking less and less of me as time goes on here, but I actually run a fan page on Facebook called the Knights of Porg.
Yep.
based on the Knights of Ren, of course, which was Kylo Ren's group. And it's got a pretty strong following. We've got 6,000-7,000 people on there that just love Porgs, and we share different Porg images and artwork, and got a whole group that just tries to find Porgs at like Goodwills and stuff. And adds to their Porg families. It's just something fun to do as a little side Star Wars fan type thing. But yeah, I would say patience. They did some definitely have sold, but I don't think it's been really strong.
I find their soulless eyes to be unnerving.
Do you know what? Do you know why the Porg character exists?
Why?
Future exists. So when they went to shoot on that island in Ireland, there was all these birds there called puffins. Have you ever heard of puffins?
Yeah, I've heard of puffins.
Which actually kind of look similar to Porgs, like body-wise and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't want to have puffins because that's like real life. You can't have anything real life in a sci-fi movie. It totally blows the cover.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, we can't get rid of the puffins. Remember, that's protected, wildlife there.
Yeah.
Where the hell are you going to put them? They live on an island,
Yeah.
Can't move them anywhere. So they're like, yeah, screw it. We'll just leave the puffins in the scenes and we'll cover them up with CGI, Porgs later on. So that's what they did.
That's actually genius.
Yeah, well, you have to work with what's in the scene. That's where CGI is like amazing, right? Because it allows you to cover anything up. But and they added some little Porg scenes, with the Porgs in the nest and things like that. Those weren't puffins. That was just stuff they did to sort of fill out their story. But whenever you see like Rey walking around, there's like little Porgs hopping here or there. It was a puffin, and they just covered it up with a Porg.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Do they have any hobby?
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
No. Okay.
They do not. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't shock me.
Like them, but not card buyers.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Darth Vader. We got the big guy now.
So this is Darth Vader we're looking at now?
Yeah, it's focused on Darth Vader, so I use this one as an example of him.
Yeah, I mean, this particular card, it's great. It's, him doing the shut down Leia speech, before he chokes his employee there. It's 1977 tops, blue Starfield border. Mwah, perfect in every way.
Yeah.
But yeah, does Vader have hobby? He better. If this thing says no, Charlie, you can just throw the whole thing out because there's no way. Still lots of Vader. He has a lot of different cards, obviously, so there should be lots of supply out there.
Yeah.
To move. But yeah, definitely has hobby.
Yeah, I definitely expected big hobby here. What did we find? Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Not even a question. Dan says, I question everything I've seen today if this is a no. And that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, Vader, I mean, has to be. Who's number one? Is it Vader?
Yeah, I didn't rank them. I did not rank them. I don't know.
I was just saying, like, by most sales,
Yeah, I don't know if Vader was number one or not. I would say he's definitely in the top 5 someplace.
Yeah, and I mean, Leia has to be on there.
Speak of the devil.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, I mean, that's a no-brainer. Especially any of the Hooker Leia cards, for sure.
Yeah, and by Hooker Leia, of course, you mean the metal bikini at Jabba's palace.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. That is a hot selling card just as a single specific card. Everybody looks for
there's
that.
actually like 5 or 6 cards in that set with her in that costume, different scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
And they all sell pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, Seabag Callie says he thinks Princess Leia should be number 1.
I mean, it's, probably one of the biggest fantasies of our age group was Princess Leia.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's, there's always money that goes into a fantasy. So, I was listing some of the Galaxy cards that I had bought, and there's this one of, actually, I was listing Shadows of the Empire. Do you know what Shadows of the Empire is?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
With Prince Zeiser and stuff. Well, there's a card in that set where she's nude, sitting on the bed. I mean, parts are covered up, but she's sitting on the bed nude. And it says something to the effect of waiting for Prince Zeiser. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to price the hell out of this card,
Yeah.
So I threw like $10 on it or whatever. It sold in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because one hadn't sold in like forever. So I'm like, I don't know what to put on this thing, but so I just kind of went, sky's the limit on it, and yeah, I got to buy her right away. So there's just so much strength for the fantasy portion of Leia.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that I went into it saying Leia's got to be a strong seller as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she was.
Yeah.
She lit that lightsaber right up in the sales.
Yeah. Did you say lit that lightsaber or licked that lightsaber?
Whoa. That's, yeah. That makes me feel like it did when I was watching Watto.
Yeah. Sounds about right. You and Watto.
So that's it. That's our Star Wars cards for the night.
Nice. Yeah, definitely a couple surprisers. I don't, and maybe I don't have a lot of Finn either. I've got some Chrome, and I know I've sold a couple, but he hasn't been gangbusters. But I might just not have that many either. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at your sales, you also, again, like this, you have to look at what was listed. If I listed 35 Luke Skywalker cards and one Finn card, and I sold one Finn card and I sold 10 Luke cards, I'm going to think, oh, Luke's a much better seller.
Yeah.
But really, the Finn had 100% sell-through rate. So, yeah, I think you can skew those numbers all on your own. As whatever your own experience is. I still think the vintage outsells the modern.
Agreed.
So if that's the case, original trilogy characters have to sell, because that's what all that was.
Yeah.
I can remember when I was first doing this and I was buying Empire Strikes Back sets, I would get them for like $10 a set.
Yeah.
Which had like Boba Fett's rookie and stuff in it. They wouldn't really sell that well, and now I sell them all the time. So that's something to keep in mind with this kind of thing is it can change pretty drastically.
True.
These are it's not like okay, Roger Staubach is retired and he did what he did in football and that's the end of it. He's not coming back. Well, that's not necessarily true for characters from a film or a TV show or a storybook. New movies can come out, new properties can come out, new comic books, something. And that's why a lot of those I was like, okay, well, I don't see it right now, but I think they can do a lot with this character and they're going to try. And that's kind of where that patience part comes in.
Yeah. I'm just checking a few sales quick to kind of color in a few questions we had. So,
someone asked about Palpatine.
Palpatine, huh?
Yeah.
Let me see here.
What about Anakin?
Well, I wanted to see what Darth Vader actually sold in the last 6 months. And checking that, we usually when I run numbers, I don't look at graded cards, and I look at best offer and fixed price. So I don't really take all the auction numbers either, because that's usually what we're selling. So Vader in the last 6 months, huge sales, 14,916.
Okay.
If I look at Leia, which is a little tricky too, because sometimes it's Princess Leia, sometimes it's Leia Organa. So I'm just going to put in Leia, nothing else. That comes up 10,173.
Okay.
Now, a lot of the cards we talked about tonight were in the 20s, 30s, 50s.
Right. Right.
You know,
Small
to just
numbers.
give you the magnitude of how much bigger some of these cards are.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and then when we talk
But
about
what's interesting with non-sport versus sport is there's a lot of set collecting. Vintage sport has a lot of set collecting, but a lot of modern doesn't. There isn't as much set collecting. So in
yeah,
a modern set, you can get a Grogu card and you're going to get a buyer,
yeah,
even if it's not a hot selling character, because there's, people trying to put together sets. So
yeah.
changes it a little bit.
Palpatine. Let's take a look at Palpatine here. I almost put Palpatine in for tonight, but I figured we had more than enough already. Like I had to draw the line someplace.
Yeah, we're running long here, so
Palpatine, a little more than Finn. 1,682 cards sold.
okay.
Yeah. Wampa?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Wampa. I do not expect Finn to hold long term because he just does not have.
And Finn, I was checking him while we were talking. He had just over 1,000 sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wampa cards, 94.
Oh, that's not bad actually.
It gets a participation trophy.
Yeah. Well, there probably aren't that many listed, so you have to think of that too. Darth Vader probably has, 16 million cards listed, and Wampa probably has like 2,000.
Yep.
So you're going to get less sales. There's less cards made of them too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Max, you should not list that. You should bring it to the show and let me take a look and buy it.
Yes, you should sell that to me cheap so you can get out of it. I'd be happy to help you out. What about, let's see, there's another character I was thinking of. No, I lost it. Somebody said Wampa and it threw me off.
Dan asked about General Grievous.
Yeah. Yeah.
With his whooping cough. Yeah, General Grievous, couple hundred. Not super strong there. 488. Not as much as BB-8.
Yeah, I don't know. BB-8, there's a big droid following, so I think that's where that kind of comes in for bonus points. Yeah, the Finn one is just surprising to me. Not a very good character in the end.
Yeah.
Not very strong. For half of that last movie, he was walking around like a dodo with all the hoses hanging from him and all the liquid spewing out. Like, it was just dumb.
That's true.
And then, they screwed up Rose Tico, so his relationship with Rose was just garbage in that movie too. And
yeah,
I don't know. These kids, they'll see the light eventually. They'll watch the original ones and be like, "How could I be so stupid? This is Star Wars." But I'm diehard original trilogy above all else for sure.
Yeah. Sounds like Dan had a good time tonight. Max is a scanner, so he's going to hold on to him.
Oh. Yeah, I like Grievous too. Star Wars has a lot of good characters. This is actually kind of tough because there are, there's so many characters. It's such a huge. I mean, this creation has been around since 1976.
Yeah.
As long as I've been alive. I was born the year this came out. So there's a lot. It's a big universe. There's lots of characters. There's lots of storylines, ships, creatures, planets. Weapons. I mean, it's just goes on and on and on and on. Yeah. So that was tons of fun. Thanks for doing it, Charlie. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoyed it too. So we went kind of long tonight with this. We never know how much we're going to talk about cards, right? When we're doing it. Right. So it's kind of hard to nail down how many cards should I put in this. You don't want too few, you don't want too many. So I kind of like it when we go out and get a random blaster or something and we just go through what's in there and play it. These ones I pulled from my listings because it was easy to just save the images and put them out there. But I do like it a little better when we grab a random blaster and we open it up and show it off that way.
And we'll do that next time. I think this was important because we wanted to hit on certain characters.
Yeah.
Versus in a blaster, that you might not get what you want for that.
True.
But yeah, for the next sports one, we definitely could.
The reason I like the blaster way, though, is that's the exercise we all often go into, right? We pick up some blaster at a store and we're like, can I use this card? Can I do something with this card? Oh, I think this is a hit. And the question is, are we right or not? A lot of times we don't find out until 6 months later when it's still sitting in a box for us, right?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of don't care if I have listing space. I just list it. You might as well fill that space with a card and see if you can get a sale. You can always, take it down later. But yeah, I'm always daily. I am shocked with some of the stuff that I sell. So
yeah,
you can't. And I see it in the Discord too when people post like, "Well, you can't sell it if you don't list it," and they'll post, some random bench scrub or whatever. And basketball is usually a challenge for me. The last 3 days, I've sold so much random basketball stuff. Just kind of with the season winding down there's, lots of team collectors and things that are picking stuff up. And some obvious ones too, some LeBron, some Kobe, those. But then there was also some Jamal Murray, some Bam Adebayo. Not rookies or anything, just some of them were parallels and things, but nothing super fancy. Ben Simmons, I sold a few Ben Simmons cards. I'm like, who's buying Ben Simmons? So yeah, it's interesting. We kind of take for granted, that we know which ones are going to sell. We only list those, and you don't know. You don't know who the buyer is going to be.
You don't know. I mean, just today, during the show, I had an auction end. So in my wild card Dynamite, I got a Bucky Irving rookie in the Dynamite, numbered out of 15, and I thought this will have a decent market. The auction ended today for $11.50. Not nearly what I thought I might be able to get for that card. You just never know.
It's also hard with wild card because there are people who love it. There's people who don't care for it. There's the unlicensed part of it, what it is, serial number, things like that. So those are kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Which kind of adds to the fun of them, I think. But all right, I think that's we're long, so I think that we're gonna cut it right there. I know we had a couple other topics. We'll try to hit on some things next week and keep moving forward, but we thank everybody for joining us. If you're watching this live, make sure you participate in the chat. It's a lot more fun that way. If you're watching this recorded, try to join us live Wednesday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time every week. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, because you'll be notified when I go live, anytime I go live. And that will be your reminder of, oh, hey, I got to jump in on this live show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, subscribe, ring the bell, like this video if you enjoyed it, share it to somebody else you think might enjoy it. It really helps us out. And don't forget to check out Charlie's channel, JC3 Cards and Collectibles. He does a great job with, like we've experienced here tonight, with what sells and what doesn't sell. He does a great job, exploring that in his videos, and we thank him for his time and efforts. As I know that's not an instant thing. It takes some work. So
it does.
But yeah, if you guys like this game, keep giving us feedback, because we heard about it last time. Hey, we really liked Hobby or No, so we'll try to keep bringing them if people are enjoying it.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything to add?
Well, just remember, when you see the GOAT, we're talking about some of the greatest of all time.
Remember, can't sell what you don't list. We'll see you next week.